Welcome to the Betting Pros PGA podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice along with Bo McBrayer. Big week coming up on the PGA Tour. It's not a major, but the Memorial Tournament is one of the most prestigious non-majors, and Muirfield Village is one of the better courses on the tour. Bo and I will give you a full betting preview of the Memorial. We'll discuss the course, the field, and the odds. We'll give you our early betting cards, and we'll make our weekly one-and-done picks at the end of the show. But we'll start with a recap of the Charles Schwab Challenge. Ben Griffin gets his first individual PGA Tour victory. The 29-year-old Griffin had teamed with Andrew Novak to win last month's Zurich Classic of New Orleans, a two-man team event. But he hadn't won on his own until he held off Matty Schmidt Sunday at Colonial. It was basically a two-man battle between Griffin and Schmidt all weekend. Scottie Scheffler got off to a slow start. He was 1 under par after 2 rounds. Scottie got going on Saturday with a 6 under par 64, but couldn't make magic on Sunday. He shot a 1 under par 69, finished in a tie for fourth, 4 shots back. Griffin and Schmidt were tied for the lead at 13 under par going into the final round. Griffin had gone 66, 63, 68 in his first 3 rounds, and he got off to a blistering start on Sunday. He rolled in a 15-foot eagle putt on the par 5 opening hole, then followed it up with a birdie on number 2. And that hot start would prove to be big later on. Schmidt struggled at the onset. After a birdie on number 1, he bogeyed number 2, double bogeyed number 5, bogeyed number 6. It looked like Griffin might run away with the title, but then Griffin started leaking oil. He didn't make another birdie the rest of the way after his birdie on number 2. Griffin bogeyed the 6th and the 7th, made another bogey on the par 3 13th, at which point his lead was down to 2 shots. Schmidt had also bogeyed the 13th himself, then bogeyed the 14th. But Schmidt got within 1 shot when he stiffed his tee shot on the par 3 16th hole to within 3 feet, sank the birdie putt, then watched Griffin make a sloppy bogey. But after they both missed the green on the par 4 17th, Griffin hit a great chip to get up and down for a par, while Schmidt failed to get up and down from a greenside bunker. That gave Griffin a 2-shot cushion going into the final hole, and he needed it, Bo. Both players missed the green on the par 4 18th. Griffin chipped to about 4 feet. Matty Schmidt then holed a chip from the deep rough and back of the green to give Griffin the most pressure-packed putt of his career, but Griffin rolled in the 4-footer to earn the trophy. It was a tough Sunday at Colonial, Bo. Those little greens were firm and hard to hold, and it was a windy day in Fort Worth, Texas. What did you make of Ben Griffin's win at the Charles Schwab Challenge?
He was solid all the way through, all 4 rounds. You didn't think like he was going to really make any big mistakes, and he didn't. His ball striking was outstanding, and when he was wayward, he recovered very well. This was a very good scrambling week for Ben Griffin, and it made all the difference in the world. He made lots of birdies when they were there, but he also put himself in some tough spots and got out of nearly all of them. So, and it was a really strong field there at Colonial with Scottie Scheffler within striking distance most of the week, especially after Saturday. We just didn't see the birdie making from Scheffler. It looked like he couldn't buy a bucket on Sunday. So it was more like, okay, is Griffin going to hang on, or is Schmidt going to continue to make double bogey and then bogey? Every time Matty Schmidt got a little bit of momentum, he shot himself in the foot, and Griffin just steady Eddie, just kept it going. It was a really good test of golf. I like Colonial. It's golf how it's meant to be played. You don't need to have a 8,000 yard course to challenge these guys. And again, it's a score worse than 1,500 par to win a tournament. That's the sweet spot. Is if you're looking at 15 or better under par, then I think it's too easy for these guys. I think we're going to get another good one this week.
Scotty's shot out of the ditch on Saturday had to be one of the shots of the year. Scotty missed way left. Lucky just to find the ball. Long grass. He was probably, 20 feet, 25 feet below the fairway.
The ball was 3 feet above his feet.
That too. And somehow put it on the green about 20 feet away.
In the cabbage. And I was amazed he didn't make that birdie putt. Everyone in the world was like, well, now he's going to make that 20-footer and make the best 3 ever. But a par from that spot, well, like you said, I was amazed that they found his ball down there. I'm sure he gets lots of help from all the volunteers, marshals, patrons. We don't get that courtesy at our local muni, do we, Pat?
No, we don't, which is why I spend a lot of money on golf balls, Bo. So
Correct.
it's a line item in the family budget. One
It's written in pen.
one final word about that tournament. I was wildly entertained by that big cutter that Ben Griffin was hitting off the tee, especially on
Yeah.
Saturday when he was so dialed in with that. I mean, that's like friends of mine, Bo, who have a slice, know they're going to slice off the tee every time and aim
left
down the left tree line. But Ben Griffin was doing that planned and to perfection. So good
And
win.
he's not the longest hitter on tour, but he was hitting it out there. Like I was pretty impressed because Griffin's off the tee game was immaculate.
Yeah, he was really good off the tee. Really good all around. Big win for him. And now we are on to the Memorial event, and we will turn our attention to the Memorial in just a moment. But first,
download the free BettingPros app for iOS and Android. With Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major sportsbooks in one spot. Easily monitor your bet performance by sport and bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Go ahead and create your own custom betting system to find winning trends and profitable opportunities. Get your 7-day free trial of Betting Pros Premium by downloading the app at bettingpros.com/apps using the code JUICE, JUICE, and activating your trial on the upgrade screen.
Now, the Memorial Tournament is a signature event, the second to last signature event of the season. So it's an exclusive field of about 70 players. I think the official count is 71. There will be a 36-hole cut for this one with the top 50 players plus ties continuing into the weekend. And any player within 10 shots of the lead after Friday's round will make the cut. The Memorial will be played at the Muirfield Village Golf Club in Dublin, Ohio, the house that Jack built.
Golden Bear.
Yes, sir. This Jack Nicklaus design is a par 72 that will play to 7,569 yards. The course was renovated 4 years ago and now plays tougher than ever for the pros. The greens at Muirfield Village are bent grass. They are firm and they are lightning fast. If you want to hit these greens, you best find the fairway because it's going to be extremely hard to keep approach shots on the green if you're hitting from out of the thick, chewy rough at Muirfield Village. And if you miss the green, it's going to be hard to get up and down. Muirfield Village has long been one of the toughest scrambling courses on tour, probably taking a backseat only to Augusta National in that department. Fairways are reasonably generous, although it should be noted that the 2021 renovation did pinch off some of the fairways at distances where the pros were likely to be hitting their drives. Helps to be a big hitter. 7 of the 10 par 4s at Muirfield Village are longer than 450 yards, and the 2 closing par 4s are 503 and 480 yards. The 2 longest par 5s are 582 and 588 yards. Since this is a Jack Nicklaus design, it should be no surprise that the course favors players who like to hit a fade, hit it from left to right, and also who hit the ball high, as Jack did. You know who favors a left to right ball flight and can hit a pretty high ball, Bo? How about number 1 player in the world, Scottie Scheffler, who just happens to be...
that name. I keep hearing that name. It's like ringing like tinnitus in my ears.
And as it turns out, Scottie Scheffler is the Memorial's defending champion. He finished 8 under par last year to beat Collin Morikawa by a stroke. Only 11 players in the field finished under par last year. Viktor Hovland won the Memorial in 2023. He was 7 under par and beat Denny McCarthy in a playoff. Billy Horschel was 13 under par to win in 2022. He was 4 shots clear of the field. Patrick Cantlay won here in 2021. He was minus 13 and beat Collin Morikawa in a playoff. Some tough luck for Collin Morikawa in this event as a bridesmaid. Cantlay also won in 2019, and John Rahm won the Memorial in 2020. Could be pretty breezy at Muirfield Village this week, Bo. Winds are expected to blow at 10 to 20 miles per hour on Thursday and Saturday, 10 to 15 miles per hour Friday and Sunday. Temperatures should be in the 70s for most of the week, and there's no rain in the forecast. Muirfield Village is going to be playing firm and fast. What's it going to take to win the Memorial this week, Bo? And I'm curious about what you think the winning score at Muirfield Village might be.
Well, I mean, you could probably sense my excitement as you listed all the things that were going to make this place more difficult for this field. It is a stacked field, so I don't expect the scoring to be too unfavorable, but I do expect the winning score to be single digits under par. It's going to take the full bag. And starting with off the tee, you mentioned distance is an advantage here. It's an advantage here, but mainly good drives, being able to gain strokes off the tee and find the fairway in good position for approach. This is still a second shot golf course, and you're still going to have to worry about pretty much any approach shot 175 and above. So long iron play, mid iron play is going to come into play here. Bogey avoidance and scrambling are huge here. As you mentioned, the rough is gnarly. If you find it, you have to be able to mitigate damage. It is a lot like Colonial in a way, where you got fast bent grass greens and you have pinched landing areas, and it's going to take playing from the fairway. You noticed at Colonial, if even when Scottie Scheffler was in that first cut of intermediate rough, he wasn't getting spin on those approach shots because there just wasn't any way to get the grooves on the ball from those lies. It's going to be more of the same here at the Memorial. I am a huge fan of this golf course. I'm a huge fan of this tournament in general. Even though it is a limited field event, I'm going to overlook all of that and just say I'm excited to see the carnage. I probably think it's going to be between 5 and 10 under par, but I don't have Scottie winning. So there's a teaser.
Interesting. Yeah, I always watch in terror when I see this tournament with the greens, like just imagining what my horrendous short game would be like at Muirfield Village. It's just enough to make me lose sleep. Oh,
yeah. In these conditions, it would be 120 plus for most amateur golfers.
Yes, sir. And we'll get to the odds for the Memorial in just a moment, but first,
if you're looking for a new way to test your sports knowledge, no VIG, no house edge, this is it. No VIG is live in over 40 states, including many states like California, Texas, and Georgia that do not have legal online sports betting, and it's available on both iOS and Android. Right now, you can get 50% off your first coin purchase up to $25 when you use code DAILYJUICE at bettingpros.com/novig. That's bettingpros.com/novig, code DAILYJUICE. Must be 21 or older. Terms apply.
Now for the odds at the Memorial. We're recording the show on Sunday night due to the Memorial Day holiday on Monday, so all odds are courtesy of DraftKings. As of Sunday night, some of these odds may have changed by the time you consume this show. Scottie Scheffler opens as a heavy favorite at plus 270. Xander Schauffele is plus 1,500. Justin Thomas and Collin Morikawa are plus 1,800. Patrick Cantlay is plus 1,900. Ludvig Åberg is plus 2,000. Tommy Fleetwood and Corey Connors are plus 3,000. Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Jordan Spieth, and Hideki Matsuyama are all plus 3,500. And Siwoo Kim, Sepp Straka, and Daniel Berger are plus 4,000. Once again, Bo, the first question is whether you have any interest in betting Scottie at such short odds against a loaded field, but it sounds like you don't.
And I thought I was really smart this last week at Colonial. I was really smart. I was patting myself on the back. I did all the waiting game. Obviously there wasn't an opportunity to where we really wanted to bet Scottie Scheffler on Thursday. Friday came around and he was pretty far behind. He started off hot on Saturday. That's when I sprung into action on Saturday. Saturday morning, I found Scottie Scheffler at plus 1,400. It was right as he's hitting his Saturday 64. I mean, moving day is Scottie's day. And so I thought, as long as he's within 6 or 7 strokes going into Sunday, it won't take much for him to put some pressure on Griffin and Schmid. Unfortunately, Scottie Scheffler did not come through with the plus 1,400 because he shot kind of okay on Sunday. It wasn't great. I'm kind of going to employ the same strategy here, but I'm not going to be paying as close attention to the live odds for Scottie this week as I would at Colonial, where I think that the field is strong enough here to where I can look elsewhere and not have to worry about Scottie. He's not the boogeyman here. Like he was the boogeyman at Colonial. He is often the boogeyman like he was at Craig Ranch a few weeks ago. I don't think he wins this week. Defending champion's a hard thing to come into, especially when you just won the PGA. He should have put forth a better opportunity last week at Colonial. I don't think this is his week. I just don't. And of course, I could be very wrong because he's still the best golfer in the world. But I'm starting my card with Xander Schauffele because the odds are too amazing. at plus 1,500 as the second man in. His numbers are almost a carbon copy of Scottie Scheffler's, with better scrambling numbers and honestly better off the tee numbers and bogey avoidance. This is obviously Scottie Scheffler is going to pop up number one in every stat model, but Xander Schauffele is right there next to him in mine.
Yeah, and Xander's best finish at the Memorial was 8th last year. He's had a bunch of top 15s, but hasn't really seriously contended. But he's got the game for it. I mean, we've talked about how Xander is a grinder. You want him on the tough courses, and
this is the one. This is the one right here.
This is a good spot for him. So, just to go back to Scottie for a second, he, before winning last year, had finished third in his 2 previous Memorials before finally breaking through, and he is obviously in fine form of late with 2 wins in his last 3 events, including the PGA. Justin Thomas, Bo, he missed the cut in the PGA, his last event. Doesn't have a real great track record at the Memorial, at least not lately. He finished 4th back in 2017 and 8th in 2018. Hasn't finished it better than 18th in any of his last 5 appearances, a few missed cuts in there. He did finish second when they held the Workday Charity Open at Muirfield Village in 2020, but that was a much different course setup than we typically get for the Memorial. So any interest in JT, or the odds just too short?
I just think JT is better on a shorter golf course where wedge play is a key. His off the tee game scares me, and off the tee is super important at Memorial. At Muirfield Village, you have to hit fairways. You have to be more than just a second shot player, and that's really been JT this season. Is when he's found a neutral off the tee game and short game, he's been really good. But when he's been kind of struggling with everything except for approach, we haven't really seen the best Justin Thomas this season. And I think this course is too long, too demanding for it to be Justin Thomas's week. It just seems like it's not a great course fit based on everything I'm looking at. Just what's important here is kind of it's exactly what Justin Thomas has been struggling with this season.
Agreed. Now, Collin Morikawa is a really interesting case. He did win that Workday Charity Open in 2020. Again, much different setup, but and then he had the 2 runner-up finishes at Muirfield Village, 2021 and 2024. But his form has not been great over the last 2 months. No top 10s in his last 5 events. He's outside the top 50 in strokes gained putting, outside the top 100 in scrambling, outside the top 150 in sand save percentage. Any interest in Collin Morikawa this week, Bo?
I went into this expecting to love Collin Morikawa, and I simply don't. I'm looking at something that I haven't seen from him in his whole career. Scrambling, namely. I believe there's 71 in this field. He's somehow 77th in scrambling in this field out of 71. Not great. And honestly, his putting on bent grass is his best surface. He's 26th in this field putting on bent grass, which is a good sign for him, except he's also near the bottom of this field in both the 175 to 200 and 200 plus proximity buckets on approach, which that's usually the strength of his game. And Collin Morikawa, of course, amazing off the tee. He's one of the best tee shot players, one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the world. But if his approach game is this bad as it has been the last few weeks, and as well as his natural, aversion to having a strong short game, it's scary to think that he can get off the tee here just fine. But we're worried about Collin Morikawa on approach. That doesn't sit well with me at all.
No, that's scary. So Ludvig Åberg finished 5th last year in his Memorial debut, but he's been in poor form in recent months, save for his 7th place finish at the Masters. We have to talk about Patrick Cantlay, Bo. He seems to love Muirfield Village. He's won here twice. He's had 2 other top 5s and a top 10. He missed the cut at the PGA, but finished 4th at the Truist Championship the week before that. What about Cantlay at 19-1?
No thanks. I know he's done well here in the past, but there have been signs that he's turning the tide. He's the worst putter in this entire field, and that's not good. We've seen Patrick Cantlay struggle with the flat stick all season. It hasn't been pretty. Everywhere else seems to be okay. His scrambling's kind of middle of the pack. His approach game's middle of the pack. He's a really strong approach player in general, and off the tee he's been really good this year. But if you can't make putts, you're not going to be able to hold on here. I'm afraid of his putting, and I'm afraid of Åberg's short game in general. Just being able to scramble, it's been ugly for him. When his ball striking struggles like it has the last 2 months, then what does Åberg really have? He's not going to be able to recover with it by way of his short game. And Patrick Cantlay isn't going to be able to bail himself out with the flat stick because he just hasn't been making anything this season.
Yeah. Now, a couple other guys we should probably mention. Corey Connors, with his great ball striking, you'd think he would maybe be a factor at Muirfield Village. He's finished top 20 in 7 of his last 8 events, so he's been really steady, but he's never seriously contended at the Memorial. His best finish was a 13th. Hideki Matsuyama got his first PGA Tour win at Muirfield Village back in 2014 and has since finished top 10 at Muirfield Village 3 times. But Hideki's recent form has been pretty iffy. Viktor Hovland won here in 2023, finished 15th last year. His form's been a mixed bag in 2025, more bad than good, although he did win the Valspar back in March. And Siwoo Kim, he's kind of a horse for the course. He's finished top 15 at the Memorial in each of the last 4 years. He's also been in pretty decent form lately, finishing top 20 in 4 of his last 6 events. All right, let's take a look at more odds, unless, Bo, any thoughts on any of those guys, or are those guys all passes?
You mentioned 2 guys that I'm betting on. And I'll start with Hideki Matsuyama. This is exactly the type of course I picture him doing very well on. He's a grinder. He's got an amazing short game. And as far as golf courses where we see him excel on approach, it's when they're longer approach distances. So I do have Hideki Matsuyama. Amazing odds, plus 3,500. That's I love all of that, because Hideki, when he struggles, he's almost just catatonic. He's just completely out of it. But sometimes he feels like he's struggling and he's still right in this thing. And I think that he could be a couple strokes back and still be right there waiting for somebody to trip up. And we're going to see some lead changes this week. This is the kind of tournament with a lot of drama, a lot of guys making mistakes, a lot of guys making amazing shots to vault themselves on tough golf conditions. I think the Hideki Matsuyama is exactly the player that I'm looking for at plus 3,500. And the other one's Siwoo Kim. It's just a great fit. He's got lots of great experience here. And when it comes to driving distance, he doesn't have it, but he's a really accurate player off the tee. And he's a really good long iron approach player. And he happens to be riding a pretty hot putter this season. So give me Siwoo on recent form and past form at this golf course at plus 4,000. That's really nice. And there's no mystery why Corey Connors hasn't done well here. He has the worst around the green game in this field, 80th out of 71. Not great, Bob.
Yeah, not great. Let's look at more odds. We've got Tony Finau, Sam Burns, and Matt Fitzpatrick at plus 4,500. Sungjae Im, Keegan Bradley, and Russell Henley are plus 5,000. Robert McIntyre, Maverick McNeely, Harris English, and Ben Griffin are plus 6,000. Adam Scott is plus 7,000. And at plus 7,500, we have a big group that includes Aaron Rai, Wyndham Clark, Rickie Fowler, JT Poston, JJ Spawn, Ben On, and Alex Noren. Anyone you like from this group, Bo?
It's not a good group. I do have some interest. I'm going to be digging a little deeper at Rickie Fowler because of what he did this last week in a very similar setup, just a longer course, which I think plays better into Rickie Fowler's game. He's not the best wedge player, but he showed up off the tee at Colonial, and that gave me a lot of confidence that his game is starting to turn around. I think Rickie Fowler warrants a second look. And then no thanks on Tony Finau. I like that he did well last week, but he's also another guy with no short game to speak of. And this is not the kind of track I want to put that to the test. You mentioned Matt Fitzpatrick. That's an interesting one too. Is the quintessential grinder. Can he make enough birdies on the par fives? That worries me, because par 5 scoring is everything. If you want to break par on this golf course, you have to do it on those 4 par 5s. It's going to be interesting to see if Fitzpatrick can make hay when he's presented those chances.
Yeah, Fitzpatrick's been in pretty good form lately. He's finished eighth, or did finish eighth at the PGA, and he's finished top 10 at the Memorial in each of the last 2 years. You mentioned Fowler. His course history at Muirfield Village has been pretty solid, but I'm with you on Finau. Sungjae Im has a couple top tens here in the last 3 years, but he ranks 174th in strokes gained on approach. Bo, that would seem to not bode well at Muirfield Village. And then
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about debutantes at the Memorial. Like Andrew Novak's been hot lately, just finished 11th at the Charles Schwab Challenge. I can't take a first timer here, Bo.
Yeah, if I was to take one, it would be probably Novak or maybe like Harris English or something, but they've been here before. Yeah, it's really tough for debutantes here because the speed of those greens is real. Like, if you thought Colonial was fast, Muirfield Village is even faster, and they're bigger green complexes, so you have to actually aim for smaller targets. A lot like Augusta National, big greens run fast, and you just don't want to be on the wrong side of it.
Very true. What about long shots? Anyone at 80 to 1 or longer odds who interests you?
I don't like betting long shots here so much, but I did find a nice line on Taylor Pendrith at 80 to 1. That's a nice one. Very good off the tee player, very good long and mid iron approach player. His scrambling has been very solid this season, so I will be taking a stab at Taylor Pendrith again, despite all the history behind doing that, where he just never hits for me. I'm going to do it again. And then at 100 to 1, I ended up seeing a very surprising name in the top 10 of my model, and that's Sam Stevens. Sam Stevens is no worse than 51st in any category, and it was a lower weighted category in my model. He's number 2 in scrambling in this entire field, number 4 in bogey avoidance. He's a really good par 5 scorer and top 10 in short game. So I think Sam Stevens warrants 100 to 1 bet. Probably do a top 20 on that one as well.
I'm intrigued by Alex Smalley just because he's so statistically sound. He ranks 8th in strokes gained total this season, 14th in strokes gained off the tee, 18th in scrambling, 41st in strokes gained putting. So at 150 to 1, I'm interested. All right,
Yeah.
Bo. So who's on your betting card as of now?
I have Xander Schauffele 15 to 1, Hideki Matsuyama 35 to 1, Siwoo Kim 40 to 1, Taylor Pendrith 80 to 1, and Sam Stevens at 100 to 1.
I'm keeping it light just because the early odds only gave us outrights. Really, I've been making my only money the last few weeks on top 20s, and we don't get those odds, so I can't hit any of those. But as of now, Patrick Cantlay, I am going to play him at plus at 19 to 1. I'm going to play Hideki right with you, Bo. I love him at 35 to 1. I'm going to throw a buck or two on Alex Smalley at 150 to 1.
That reminds me of how close I was to making some real money on Carl Phillips at Colonial. He got a top 20 for plus 850, but he was for a while there on Sunday in the top 5, which would have been a really nice payday for me, but I'll take the plus 850 on Phillips. But he's not in this field, so there's no extreme value.
Now for our one and done picks at the Charles Schwab Challenge, Bo had Michael Kim. He tied for 16th, fueled by a final round 67. That earned Bo $140,125. I had Maverick McNeely. He missed the cut and earned me a big fat goose egg. Bo continues to throttle me in the one and done. He has more than doubled me up and keeps adding to his lead. But I'm up first this week, Bo. The thing is, so many guys I would like to play here I have used already, such as Hideki Matsuyama and Siwoo Kim. So despite the recent shaky form, I have to go with Collin Morikawa and hope he gets the ball striking going again this week at a course where he's fared well in the past. Who are you going to take, Bo?
I'm going to take Xander Schauffele to keep his cut streak alive and to make me a few $1 million this week.
And that's all for this week's Betting Pros PGA podcast. Come join us again next week when we will be previewing the Canadian Open, the final tune-up before the U.S. Open. Until then, so long, everyone.